Alright, so this is 9.1. I went backwards on to 9.1 because I wanted y'all to see, do some stuff with Chapter 9. This kind of leads you into Objective 9 of tax. So this is kind of more of a tax-related section than it is maybe the rest of Chapter 9. But it does deal with it in the sense that we're talking about functions, and this is multiple representations of functions. We want to be able to translate between various representations of functions and solve problems by using various representations of functions. Not a very hard section. You'll find it actually very, very easy. Okay, so what are the four various representations of functions? Well, I like to do this where I create a four-corner model, and this is something I used to do with my Algebra 1 and MMA classes. And we would look at the different types of things. One, you could have the equation. And the equation might be, like in this case, P is equal to 20N. Then you might have a table, and the table would tell you N is this, P is this, and you got 50, 1,000, 100, 2,000, 150, 3,000, 200, 4,000, so on and so forth. Then you might have a graph, and I'm just going to do a rough graph here, but you can kind of get the idea. Let's say there was 100 and there was 2,000 right around there. And then you need to verbally describe it. Okay, so the daily profits for an amusement park is determined by the number of tickets sold times 20. Because maybe they sell those, they get $20 of profit per ticket. So this would be, like tying them all in. You've got all the different representations. You got a verbal representation, an equation representation, a table representation, and a graphing representation. So you've got all four types of representations there. Not that big of a deal. Maybe I do ask multiple questions where you would have to do that, or like say here's a situation and make you go through the different representations through different questions. Okay, so let's look at this example here. Here I give you say three different graphs. They're all about the amusement park sales over a 4-day weekend, and the first one says choose with the graph that would say that you would think says the park was closed for repairs on Friday. Well, if you look, they had no sales on Friday on graph 2, so that would suggest, well, that would be it because nobody's want to go to an amusement park when it's closed. So graph 2 would be the first one. But let's look at the other situations. How about if the park had hosted a concert on, I believe, Saturday night, and a parade on Monday? Where do you think that one would fit? Graph 1, graph 2, or graph 3? Or a third situation, the park had a busy weekend, or was busy during a holiday weekend. Okay, so what I would do there is say, okay, park hosted a concert Saturday and a parade on Monday. Do I think they would actually get more sales during those 2 days? Maybe. So let's say that one is 3. The park was busy during a holiday weekend. I would think that would mean I'm going to have good sales throughout the whole weekend, even best sales on Saturday, but all of them are going to be kind of high, and that would make me think of 1. Okay, so you kind of see how easy some of this should be. Like I said, this section is super, super easy. Okay, how about taking the same idea, we're talking about this amusement park, let's sketch a graph to represent if the weather was beautiful on Friday and Saturday, but it rained all day Sunday and Monday. So what you might see is you have really good sales. Let's say there's Friday, there's Saturday, there's Sunday, and there's Monday, and you might see really good sales, and all of a sudden a big drop off on Sunday and Monday, but good sales on Friday and Saturday. And that could be, again, because some people may still want to go, even though it may be raining, because there might be some rides or shows or whatever that might still be open. And so it wouldn't necessarily be completely zero, but obviously with the better days being Friday and Saturday, they'd have more sales. Okay, finally what I'm going to want you to go over is just something here. Let's take a situation. Let's see if you can represent it in the other formats. So let's look here. Kurt is rappelling down a 500-foot cliff at 6 feet per second. What I traditionally like to do is actually start off with the table. So, here's his time, here's height. At the very beginning, he's 500 feet high. Then 1 second later, he's 6 feet down, so that would be 494, subtracting 6. Then he goes down another 6 feet in another second, so 488. And then you start thinking, well, what if I go to say something like, okay, well, let's do 3, 482. How about 10? Like if I went down to 10, what would I do? That if you can start skipping, that makes me think like, okay, well, I know I'm going to go 10 times 6, which is 60. 500 minus 60 is 440. So you might be going, well, then that makes it easy because then I know what I just did. What did I just say? Well, I started at 500 and I'm subtracting whatever I multiplied by 6. So 6 times time, there's my equation. My height is 500 minus 6 times whatever seconds it takes. Then the graph might be something like this. And, very linear because you're going down 6 feet per second each second. So, it's very linear. And you kind of go from there. If we get a chance, we might try to do a little bit more with regression. But I think this is pretty much it. Wouldn't want to go too much further with this section. Okay, so on page 656, here they do have some things that are there to help about translating, to give you hints, tips, to remember things, like what to do when given a table. Try to find something, how to help you find like other ways like to represent it. Like, so if you got a table, from the table could you find the equation? Could you come up with a verbal expression? Could you come up with a graph? If you had a graph, could you come up with an equation? That type of thing. So that's really what that is for. You might want to make sure you kind of know that, but it's not something you have to know by heart. And that's it for 9-1. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, start getting ready for the test. Thank you very much.